Ramadan
What's up,
Kareem.
guys?
Ramadan Kareem.
How you feeling?
We're feeling
Good, man.
I'm feeling the Holy Spirit.
feeling groggy.
Still like waking up from the post-diabetic spikes.
Oh my
Exactly.
god. It's a month of exhaustion, man.
I felt like the first week was good for me. I felt it was normal.
It's Ramadan is the month of exhaustion and bad car accidents in the hours of about 6 to 6:30.
Yeah.
Literally every single day.
Everyone drives like crazy in Bahrain.
As if they need an excuse to just be Saudi for a day.
Yeah.
It's for 30 days.
For 30 days.
It's like if you're in a hurry to get to your house and eat, you would keep a bottle of water, in the car.
Yeah.
Maybe some dates.
Something.
Yeah, why not?
Like a bug-out bag for Ramadan. Yeah.
Exactly, and if not, there are a bunch of people at traffic lights that actually hand you like
They
a bottle of
do.
water. Yeah,
There should be a whole industry for it, like small, like drones, Araft. Like you
Exactly.
subscribe to a service.
They're gonna do that in Dubai. Just wait.
I know. Somebody's
wait.
writing down.
I'm
this,
just
like,
waiting. Someone's gonna listen to this podcast.
Yes.
We should do that.
but you know something? The best thing about Ramadan is after iftar, when you
Yeah.
go out, the streets are totally empty.
Why? What do you like that?
Like an hour, an hour after iftar, it's like
It's like
dead outside.
post-apocalypse. Araft.
Exactly.
And you can't even see a cat outside. Even
can-
cats are like it's at home.
You can drive. No one's gonna pester you. No one's gonna bother you. Most of the traffic lights are always green.
Yeah.
It's a nice
It's
drive.
perfect. It's quiet.
Like coming to your place now, smoothest drive ever.
Yeah. And it's about like 8 p.m. now here at
Yeah.
this time. We're doing the late hour. Usually we do it during the day.
Yeah.
Fahina was very calm, but you guys are not as energetic, Yani.
We're a little mellow.
We're gonna get there. We're
Yeah,
gonna get
yeah,
there.
yeah,
We're gonna get there.
The coffee's gonna kick in.
Yeah, thank you, Matrook, for
Gawa.
bringing us some proper gawa. Arabic
No worries,
coffee.
man. No worries about
Today's
that.
not the French pressed coffee I had downstairs, but
No. We opted for a more traditional form of
Yes.
coffee.
Absolutely, man.
Ala Tari, more traditional. Like if you notice, there's a bunch of people that are really getting into the fasting these days that normally wouldn't fast because they're just intermittent fasters.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that type?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I've noticed this ever since last year.
Yeah.
It's sort of like I feel the spirit of Ramadan.
Yeah,
you know?
but they're usually not religious anyway. so
exactly.
It's like
they're religious for a month and then
they started a kale diet like a year before,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like, I'm doing intermittent fasting, bro. And
It's,
and it just
I
happens.
can't imagine.
it just makes it easier for them because like there's nothing to do during the day.
Yeah.
And everyone around them is fasting, so might as well. You're gonna sneak a bottle of water here
You
and there.
can,
But
you
yeah.
can.
I think the ones who really benefit from Ramadan are the expats who don't actually fast.
You think
Because
so?
especially like where I'm working, because we work like, 6 hours now, even less.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we get to leave early. That's nice. They take an hour break as well. So that's like 5 hours of work.
Perfect for them. I
Yeah,
think.
they love it, man.
But don't they have to wake up an hour earlier? I know some teachers do. I think they do wake up earlier or something, or go to school earlier.
I'm not sure.
School, I think schools start a bit earlier. I think.
Yeah.
I believe. I mean, if I remember correctly, my school where I was at, they started an hour later.
Yeah.
But why an hour earlier? Like, why would that make sense?
I don't know. Maybe
So they can leave earlier, I think.
Because of traffic, Yanni?
I'm not sure. I mean, would you really find daytime traffic in Ramadan?
I have no idea. No idea. Maybe
no.
like early hours for people rushing to school, I guess. Maybe.
Even then, it's not actually like it's very noticeable the difference between traffic and
Yeah.
Ramadan.
Yeah.
Ramadan.
Especially on the highways, on the highways, on normal days at 5 p.m., they would be packed. You wouldn't go out at 5 p.m.
Especially in Bahrain, because you guys, for some reason, you've mapped out the whole island like a roundabout. It's
Yeah.
one giant
Oh,
roundabout,
yeah.
or like an F1 track or something.
If there's if there's an accident in Amwaj, it's gonna get stuck
Backs
until
up all the
before. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of cars and drivers and whatever, there's a trend nowadays in Bahrain with people, sort of performing a hit and run on your car.
What way?
They would scratch your car, like, be getting out of a parking slot or whatever, and he'd scratch your car and he'd just go. Like, he wouldn't stop and leave a number on the windshield or whatever. They'd just go.
They just leave you.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Destitute and alone with a scratched car.
in my
No more manners.
in my case, I shit you not, every 2 weeks I find a new scratch on my car.
It's because you live in Matrook. That's why.
I was just gonna say that.
That's
You know?
the problem. Like,
Why are you surprised?
That's the problem. I
The
mean,
roads are tiny, man.
my car is in the garage.
The wall
It's-
hits me.
It's at home.
Is it parked outside or
No, it's
inside?
parked inside the house.
And they managed to get inside and scratch your car.
Somehow.
I don't know, it's like they're cats, man.
I don't
That's
know
where all
about
the
that.
cats are.
We
Are you
leave
sure
the
that
gate
wasn't
open
you?
sometimes.
Scratched the car middle of the night.
I don't know, man. Sleepwalking is a thing nowadays.
Sleep driving.
Imagine your dad as well, just like f***ing up, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, he's a
Yeah. I'll just
not gonna know.
I'll just blame it on him.
yeah."
I've noticed. I mean, I've noticed that I haven't really tied it to any specific sort of area. You know, it just happens. Like my car has a couple of scratches. Like I have no idea where they came from.
Yeah, but
that's
I mean,
just how it is.
But I mean,
guess.
I'll tell you one thing. Yani, okay, in my case, if someone scratched my car, like if it's a light scratch, if it's whatever, and they leave their number on the windshield, I'll call them and tell them, hey, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, at least you know the guy
But
cares.
they feel like a hit and run. They're
It's
like,
not-
I f***ed up. Maybe if you don't know, it's better. I guess. I don't know. That's
It's
the
like
way.
it's not noticeable. It's, just like,
It's
just a white
Ramadan.
thing.
It's the month of forgiveness.
Maybe, yeah. So you
Wow, man.
or
Look
the
at
month
you.
of rage, depending on the time of day.
That's the thing. It's very difficult to drive on Ramadan because the road rage is like times
It is.
a million, and you don't want to sort of like, "Allah يسامحك." You know? Like you're driving and people are just rushing.
You know something? And also, Ramadan is a month for you to express.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're angry, just say it. It's okay.
Yeah, but if they're scratching your cars, I can see the mistake happening, especially at places small as Mharrag. You know, the roads are tiny, they're narrow. People take corners with these big off cars. I don't know why they have them there, but still.
Oh, you
Excuse
don't
me.
know,
Yeah.
man. I like honestly, man. Seriously, like,
Matrook has a
how-
big f*** off
I
car.
drive a big fuck off car.
You know, there's your answer why they scratch. Some guy's like, oh, motherfucker, just parked in the middle of the road. And it's like an inch, like I can't get through.
and there's also a big like habit with Bahrainis, like in the smallest roads, the guy would park, switch on his hazard lights, and just leave the car, go to the shop and whatever, and he'd create like congestion
That
everywhere.
annoys the
He or she.
Yeah.
Let's be inclusive.
Yeah, yes,
he or
you
she.
try to be. Yeah, that's very good. That's good. That's good. You would be gender biased if you had said it was mostly she, but which happens. But man, that's not as bad as like how I used to feel about certain areas in Saudi where the kids in the streets. Man, no, I'm not even talking about people accidentally scratching your car when they drive past it. I'm talking about like kids in places like Thigba and Khabar Shamaliya, and they're just like, you leave your car outside because there's no parking in the buildings or anything. They're really old freaking buildings. And kids just playing around in the streets, they'll just come in and just key your car, scratch it, and it's
like
not
for no reason.
Yeah, they don't hate you. They're fucking bored. And in my head, I'm like, why? Why don't, like, at least in the ghetto, they jack your car for a reason, you know? It's like, sell the tires, do something. Support your crack addiction. I don't know. But they just want, like, chaos. They're like, oh, look, a car.
Let's key it.
It's art.
Yeah. You know the thing with keying cars, Bahrainis have a habit of doing it when like they're really pissed, like you parked wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they just key your car on the fly.
I've done that.
They would do that.
No, I didn't do it. My wife knows I did. I was really
Have you guys ever did a hit and run?
No.
Have you ever
Like,
committed
not a
one?
person, right? You're talking about...
No.
You know, I did it. I did that. I did it in Sharjah because at that time I just got my driver's license and
so you think that's an excuse?
I was backing out of a really tight parking space, and behind me there was like this really like a BMW M3. It was a really nice car.
You're like, I got to hit that car.
And you know, my car didn't have any sensors and whatever, so I just like backed into him. And like, oh shit. I just flew off the
You
seat.
could see the points like on the car, like it was GTA or something.
So it's funny because I had this almost the same situation, like just when I just got my driving license, and I was driving in Adli. I was trying to find a parking space, and I found a really tight one. Yeah, and I'm like, why the hell would you even do that? Yeah, and you just got your license, you can't even park properly. I almost I didn't really scratch it that much, but I was like backing in. It was what's the
Parallel parking? Yeah.
My brain is just
not working.
processing.
It's okay.
There's no carbs in your
So
brain.
it's parallel parking, and like I was going back and forth until I scratched. Yeah, just tweaked that mirror on the side mirror from the other car, and it just fell down. I'm like, I got scared shit. I got out of the car and my cousin just put it back and like, it's okay, man.
Oh my God.
Apparently it was already loose, but I just it fell down.
I blame the car manufacturer more than your car.
Why? Why would you blame them?
I don't know.
That's the worst feeling in the world.
Cars
man.
are made out of plastic nowadays.
Have you heard this?
No,
Did
you'd scratch a dent in older
you
car.
know,
You'd rip off the door and it'll stay intact. Just take
Did I tell you about my my car conspiracy?
There's a car conspiracy
with the insurance companies.
No.
This is what I'm hypothesizing at the moment, is that the reason why we don't have cars that are very durable, that can just take any hit, is because
the car companies want you to fuck up your car.
Exactly. The car companies, the insurance companies need cars to
Is that swivel arm bothering you, by the way? I keep seeing you readjust it.
I'm just trying to find the perfect spot.
Just a little sweet spot. Yeah, I noticed the companies do kind of, like, with everything, people feel like electronics are just more breakable now. Like, even if you take care of them, they just only last 4 years. As if they're designed, like some programming kicks in
that's
to break it down. Like
I heard someone say that. Like, apparently there's some rumor going around that there are chips inside. And there's like a certain amount of years that you use it.
Designed to degrade,
until it just...
But somebody would have found that out by now. Come on, like some...
Yeah, that's what I said.
But I mean, it makes you think, because a lot of older electronics... I turned Chinese there. Electronics. Most older electronics
can't stay erect because they're
old. They're very robust.
They're very robust.
They're very robust. I mean, you look at these
firm and long.
These
strong and hard.
These old, Bose speakers or whatever that your uncle had in his house for 30 years and whatever.
Yeah, they'd last.
Nowadays, it's كلها قرطاس يا اخي. That's what Bahrainis say.
It brings down cost.
When it comes to cars, like it's a well-known thing with Bahrainis. You ask them for a car. I want to buy a new car. What do you recommend? You go like, oh, الياباني قرطاس. Like, oh, the Japanese cars are trash because they're made out of plastic. Or American cars are trash because
they're made out of American plastic.
their radiators fail or whatever. And you just can't get a straight answer out of anyone. Yeah. But see, that's the thing. I mean, with cars nowadays, I drive an old car, an old Land Cruiser, 1992, and it is probably the safest car to drive for a teenager who just got his license, because you have an enormous hood in front of you. Yeah, like if you crash into a tree, you'll be fine.
It's like a Horizon.
It doesn't have an airbag, but
it'll take out whoever is in front of you.
You'd have to get through a very long hood for it to actually damage you.
Yeah, the same reason why people that drive those fucking cars are driving like maniacs in the first place. Exactly. So, I don't believe in that. Like the more protection you have, it's like shown, I think, psychologically speaking, the more protection you have, the more of a you are driving. You're just gonna be taking
like
more risks.
Nothing's gonna happen to me.
Yeah, they say that about like American football compared to rugby. Now I don't know if that's bullshit. There's probably gonna be people like yelling like crazy about this, but they say that because in American football you have all the padding and the helmet and everything else, that people actually go more aggressive than they would if they had them off. Like psychologically, they're just like, I'm armored. Let me just pile into him. But
it's possible. It's.
I think the safer you are, the safer it's like with investment, for example. If you're investing, the more money you have that you can afford to
the more
lose,
of a risk,
and the more the statistics of the company you're investing in or whatever are
the
good and whatever.
You play,
the riskier you're going to play.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Speaking of a risky play, I feel like I don't know if you guys have been watching the Ramadan ads like on NBC and stuff. I've been enjoying them.
I have not been. I have not seen NBC. I don't watch NBC in Ramadan.
I was forced to. I was in Muscat, man. I was watching them on TV and I was just enjoying it because Ramadan didn't even start yet, and that was the only thing on. It was like they had the Egyptian NBC and the normal NBC, like the Khaliji one. And the best part about it was like we said last time, like all the conflict shows, or like the people like they're drugged out and families screaming at each other and like blackmailing, and a woman that's a whore that married into the second wife's house and whatever. And like these commercials come at you, and there's this fucking Michael Bay music that plays in the background, like The Rock. like that kind of sounds like the Harry Gregson Williams or something. Dun 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 dun. And it's like and at the end of it, like the best part is like it'll cut away from whatever like show they're promoting, and it'll say like in quiet, Ramadan ya jama'na.
What a nice message that
It's a
they're
beautiful
sending out.
message. It's like to the English speakers that don't know what we're talking about, I say that it's the equivalent of a Christmassy thing where you say like Merry Christmas, love and joy for all, bringing families together. Ramadan Kareem.
Man, it's the same shows every year, man. It never changes.
They don't.
It's all the same.
Then there's no comedy.
What do you mean?
There's no comedy in Ramadan shows. I'm sorry if you consider that guy Ramiz, the guy that does.
I was just gonna say
that pulls pranks on
pranks.
people. If you consider that comedy, I feel sorry for you.
People love them though. They're high production, but they're messed up.
They're really messed
They're
up.
very messed up. But the thing is, what really is funny to me is that it almost seems like they're spending more budgets on commercials than they are on their actual TV shows.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about Selfie? Selfie's the number one comedy show.
Selfie,
but it's also like...
I liked it. I liked a couple of episodes. Honestly, like the subject matters that they tackled, especially 2 years ago. Like I think they are the very first one.
Daesh ISIS one.
That was
the heavy hitter.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Selfie is I tolerate it like as a show.
Like exactly. Like I can watch it. I can sit down and actually sit through an entire episode. I wouldn't mind.
Because I came from a generation that sort of caught the last of Tosh Matosh.
Yeah.
And I really, really love Tosh Matosh.
That's real social commentary.
It was hilarious.
And it's like some of it is really scripted well. Like the writing in there is... Like if you dig through it, some of it is actually pretty good.
And something like we said last time, we tackle problems sort of head on, and they don't do
it head on. No.
some in Selfie, some episodes they directly like tackle an issue.
But everybody feels like they do it in the right way, whereas they're not. They bring about humor and social commentary in a way that kind of is not on the nose. It's more like, hey, you're going through this journey with me because you would feel the same way I do in this exact same scenario. So it's not it's the only show that the people don't feel like it's shoved down their throat. And that's what I mean by not direct.
And it's not linear as well. Like it's more like an anthology of episodes. So there's that. If you miss an episode, it won't be a big deal. Unlike other Khaliji shows. 29 episodes, you have to follow them and whatever.
Yeah, it has to be, like there's just 29 episodes. You know what's going to happen in the end, you know how it starts.
Bob al-Hara or something.
Bob al-Hara's done. They didn't renew it.
I know, but I just, whoa, what was that? Okay, that's scary.
Can I have some more gawa?
Yeah, some gawa.
Gawa.
Refill me.
Some Arabic coffee.
Yeah. You know what I really love? I love watching the Egyptian commercials, man.
Why?
They're so over the top. I don't know if you've seen the ones.
The only ones I've been the last ones I used to be obsessed about was that panda one. I loved it. Which
one was that?
I can't remember if it was a cheese or something. I can't remember. Was it? Oh, sorry, I'm trying to extend past the mic to give him my cup. It was a panda one, and the panda basically he gets pissed off whenever somebody eats this piece of cheese, and it'll be a father and his young kid or something at the supermarket, and he'll be like, oh, this is good for you, and he eats it, and then the panda just poof, comes out of nowhere, and the panda looks like this scary dude in a costume, right? But it's a furry cute panda costume.
It sounds like a Japanese commercial,
dude. It's like a horror commercial, exactly like something weird out of Japan, right? But at the same time, that funny, so he's just staring at them with this dead blank stare, and then he just comes up and in one motion from silence to smacking the cheese right out of his freaking hand.
Oh my god, that's the thing. They make some really interesting stuff. There was one that I saw yesterday, sort of it was not exactly a car chase, they're riding on scooters. Yeah. This is this couple, and they're riding through Italy. And they're avoiding people, and then they crash into a store or something.
Such Egyptians.
And then in the end, and guess what?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
It is very Egyptian because it's very elongated. It's very long, and it's like an entire story. And then in the end, guess what it's about? It's they take out some keys from their pockets, and it turns out there was a commercial for a new residential area.
What?
It's like, why is that even? But it's just fun to watch.
A residential area in Egypt?
Yeah, so.
And they're shooting in Italy?
Yeah, speaking
don't know.
of
Makes
that was
no
another
sense.
commercial I saw on NBC. That's the same thing. Egyptian. It was talking about like a new residential villa.
Oh
type
yeah.
thing.
I
And
think I saw
You
that.
saw the dramatic music. Dude, I thought it was Armageddon or
Yes,
something. It was so serious. It's
Like Fallout shelters or something?
Yeah, it felt like something surreal. Like it was Fallout meets Armageddon meets something. But it was like they're promoting some new real estate.
Yeah.
It's the company that's built so many malls and huge like centers all around Egypt. The people, if they're listening into this, they know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean. The music is so dramatic. It sounds like a propaganda video. Do you know when like the U.S. is like playing America, America, and the flag is flying in the back, and you see like this high HD footage shot of like all the people working in the community, like we are Muslim. It's like we are Egyptians. And it's like what happened? Like something has attacked Egypt. Aliens have landed or something. But no,
Always back to aliens with you, isn't it?
it is. It's like 5 degrees of aliens.
You know what the commercials in Ramadan are fucking annoying. You know, and when you're watching, like for example, I'm watching Selfie, and the length of the commercials is longer than the actual episode.
But yeah, well, that's literally how they make money.
And
you know?
that's no. Like my problem is this. Okay, fine. You have a channel. You're a business. Fine.
Do your
But
thing.
why are you advertising the same things every year? Every year they're advertising the same thing.
Knorr.
Yeah, Noor and لبن المراعي and مستشفى الألماني السعودي, like all that.
Yeah.
Like I memorized
You
the
know them.
commercials.
It's good, man. It's the 1950s. If you know the companies, there's 5 of them. You feel special. Life is not complicated. Everything makes sense. Why are you trying to resist the system? Just take the blue pill.
I am not going to watch your ads.
You can always switch off and go to Netflix.
You could,
You
yeah.
can.
Ooh, yeah.
Netflix.
Speaking of that, I
Speaking
was laughing at Matrook's, your Instagram
There's a
story.
rant.
It's just-
Oh my God,
I blacked out before I did that rant. I don't know what I was doing.
I was just in the middle of the night. I was like, "What is this fucker doing?" You were watching he's just pissed off going through the Netflix
yes,
Ramadan
look
category.
at this shit. Look at this shit.
How is freaking what's his name?
Last Samurai.
Yeah, Tom
How was
Cruise.
that?
Why is that Ramadan? It's Japanese.
No, see, that's the thing. They like, okay, you're gonna put on a Ramadan category. At least put things that, you know, the documentaries or whatever that are about spirituality and yada yada.
No.
Movies about forgiveness and, like, you know, nice inspiring movies.
Yeah.
No. They gotta put The Dark Knight.
But those are the
Last
blockbusters.
Samurai.
Those are the ones that feel like, because for us it's not about, like, you know how like in Americans they have like certain movies that they watch in Christmas. Like for like I forgot what's called.
Yeah, but still, Khalid, I can find all those movies in the NBC2 library.
You can, it's true. But they like our unspoken bond to like Ramadan is what we call the classic nostalgia genre, right? So movies that everybody loves, and they're like, oh, these are the ones I watched with my dad. These are the ones I watched with my
But
family.
in his defense, the Last Samurai is not a classic.
It's not. It is the Saudi though, man. Like it is.
It is like, I mean, I said it in that rant. It's NBC2's favorite movie.
It's
Like when they got nothing to play, they put The Last Samurai on.
because, dude, it is the modern Lawrence of Arabia movie. If you
Is it,
think- It is. It's the same idea. It's white boy comes to Asian culture, honorable culture like our own, tribal culture like our own,
Yes.
and he gets changed and converted by the honorable notions of these samurai men, and they're dying out.
But like,
Maybe I need to watch it again. You know,
Yeah.
I remember hating it when I watched
but like,
it.
see, that's the thing. Like, if you're like an appropriate movie, in that category would be The Message,
The Message, which one is that?
الرسالة.
But that's too.
I'm
that would be
blanking
like
out here. I don't know what you're
that. Shit,
The one about
Sirat
Prophet
Muhammad.
Sirat Nabi
Oh,
Muhammad. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
The
yeah.
prophets.
The one that was done into
basically
both languages.
journey.
No. People don't want to be spiritual. They already fasted. They want to watch.
Yeah, like that would be more suitable for Dhul Hijjah or something. You know, like in the end.
Funny enough, NBC One on Eid Day, Eid al-Fitr, every morning they play The Message. Like it's a thing that they do. Like
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah. And actually, The Message is a very, very interesting movie.
It's really well. The guy who directed. I don't know if you guys know about.
I think
this.
he's Egyptian, though.
No, he's Syrian. The guy is Syrian. His name is
Mustafa Akkad, something
Mustafa
like
Akkad. Yeah.
Akkad, yeah.
His he made that. Like he made those two movies, which were almost shot by shot remade, but in both languages. Yeah. Which was. No one in the art world has ever done anything like that.
So what? They shot both shots in dual language.
He shot the same film,
right?
But with a completely different, like one with an Arabic cast and the other with an English cast. Yeah.
They did that with the IT crowd.
It's crazy. Thank you. That's an amazing comparison.
I know.
It's like. مسحت بالارض but it's
hey, it's a good show. I love it.
Yeah. But it's very interesting to read about it because Ramadan Akkad was like one of the pioneers of
Mustafa.
I said Amar because he made a film about Amar and what else was I going to say?
Shot by shot, they made both.
Yeah, so it was almost shot by shot remade. And it was with a completely different cast, with the same exact.
But are they filming this at the same time? Like one cast is like waiting in the wings.
I think it was a year in between. I'm not sure, but they shot it like back to back,
and it was really well done.
It was really well done, and and then he shot the movie about Umar after it, and he was gonna make a movie about Salah ad-Din, which was going to be like his really big budget film.
Right.
And then he got assassinated in, where was it? I think it was in Lebanon, if I'm not mistaken. He got assassinated.
For what?
For making those movies.
Really? No way.
Yeah. Him and his, him and his daughter died in that bombing.
Holy shit.
He got assassinated in I
think
it was in Lebanon.
Now that you tell me, because I always thought that it was dubbed over. You know, the English version. But kudos to him. I mean, there are some pretty epic battle scenes in that movie. And for him to recreate it shot for shot.
So what was controversial about this movie that got him?
There was nothing controversial.
It was controversial to certain sects.
Okay.
Like other than... Because he tried to... Like, I remember there's a really good documentary that you can find on YouTube. I'll pull up the name if I can find it.
But it was... From what I can remember... Sorry, OJ. From what I can remember, it was very neutral.
Yeah. And that was his point. Like, he tried for years. And he consulted all different sheikhs from different sects. And it was a huge thing. And everyone approved it. You know? And, like, he tried so hard to make this. And in the end, I think certain people got... offended. I don't know with like what one exactly.
Guy, just one.
It's like some real extremists, and
it's the one guy that downvotes on every YouTube comment.
That's the guy.
Jesus, like there's always that one man.
Isn't this the way of the world right now?
It is.
Everybody has to disagree with something.
Yeah. We got 2 downvotes for the last video. I feel proud. I do. So whoever you are, thank you.
Yeah. When you have hate,
good.
What was I going to say? We're back on this movie topic.
Ramadan category.
Mm-hmm. But no, nobody's actually distracted with that, are they? Nobody's watching any of that. Everybody's watching the royal wedding.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You know, the best thing about the royal wedding is the memes that came out.
The one with the queen when she's looking at her, that crazy look.
Endless memes, man.
Like there's this meme of the queen looking out the window, and the caption was like, when you're looking to see if your family friends went away so you can eat leftovers.
Oh my God. This is a really messed up one.
Like there were I was on the way here. My sister was talking about Meghan Markle's. Should I call her the Duchess now?
The Duchess.
The Duchess of Sussex, right?
Sussex, yeah. Meghan Markle. She looked. My sister told me that she looked so plain, so natural.
That was the selling point,
and whatever. And then she told me that her makeup cost 2,500 dinars, and I was just like, 2,500 dinars to look natural.
Plain, yeah. But then you see our weddings and what the women wear in there, and you're like, Jesus. And it's the same girls that'll be like, oh my God, she's so humble, and look how plain she is. And then like for their wedding, it's like a freaking mask, man.
I think because
it's the Predator mask of makeup.
You know what I think? I think the more you pay, the more naturally you look. Maybe that's the reason why they look so
cheap as.
Oh my God. There's my favorite meme. it was the comparison of when she was posing next to the Buckingham Palace,
yeah.
and then now she's getting married. It's a dream of every girl and all that.
It's the American dream.
Definitely the American dream.
Yeah.
And there was this one, I think it was a Saudi guy who,
Of course.
and he wrote like an entire a paragraph under it, and then I didn't even have to zoom in. Like you can tell that it was blurred, like the like where the skirt is, it's blurred out, and above the chest is also blurred out, and you can barely see the pictures. Like, why do you have to blur it out?
Just catering to Ramadan.
Dude, have you seen her? She is fine.
She's a very beautiful woman.
She's very beautiful.
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
No.
That mocha skin.
You're not a suit.
I didn't even know she was black when I first saw her, and then somebody told me they were like, "Oh, she's actually black."
I think she's half. I think she's mixed.
But she's like, she's maybe that approved level of mocha.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they can go any approved level. Like the queen, somebody had to come to the queen with a chart, and they're like, "This is how close." Is she black?
With a scale of a spectrum.
It's a spectrum. It's like how black are the babies going to be?
You?
How black are they going to be?
Yeah, we need babies.
She is pretty, but I just don't see it for some reason. I don't know. I mean, I don't.
You're
think,
racist.
I don't think I'm at that age where I have like really refined taste in women. Like I don't see it.
What kind of taste do you have then?
I don't know.
Give me a name.
What is refined taste though? Isn't it all subjective?
It is subjective.
It is.
To give you a name?
Give me a name.
Off the top of my head?
Just a woman, any woman. Roseanne.
No, not Roseanne. I don't know, man.
ScarJo.
No. I ain't into that for some reason.
Tom Cruise.
Let's see. Who did I have?
Penelope Cruz.
Penelope Cruz.
Both of them.
Salma Hayek when she was younger.
That's the easy answer, though.
She's not that bad now.
Yeah, she aged well.
She aged very well.
She got those Arab genes in her.
She does. Mm-hmm. And those Spanish genes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds, man.
You still want me to give you a name?
If you want to. I'm not going to put you on the spot for it, but I'm just trying to get an insight into what you...
I don't know. I mean, I didn't say that Meghan Markle was ugly. I just said she's okay.
Okay, all right.
She's fine.
Fair enough.
I can't believe you said that.
I can't believe you said that.
Unbelievable.
But you know,
she's the Duchess, you know?
She's the Duchess of Sussex.
Speaking of the memes that came out about the royal wedding, like
I have a beautiful one right here. Have you seen this one?
What is that?
That is my favorite one, okay? It's a picture of the queen looking
she's looking at
looking right at
I
it.
saw that
and
one.
in the subtext it's like, when you're plotting a car crash, but remembered you already used that idea once before. That is so
I saw that.
That
It cracked me
so
up.
messed up.
And she does. The queen has, honestly, she has these looks about her that she does look like a Khaliji grandmother, doesn't she? Like that judgmental look of like,
Shitty.
Who gave her my tiara?
I think it's just her face, the whole of her face, gives that impression.
She does.
But speaking of the memes that came out, there was a lot of there's a guy that made a meme about the same picture, the one where Meghan Markle in the 90s was posing in front of Buckingham Palace, and the guy wrote and he put that picture and a picture of her in the wedding, and basically what he wrote is I'm paraphrasing here, but Khadija girls that go to London like just pose in front of Buckingham Palace and wait for 20 years.
Oh my God. Dude, do you guys, have you ever been to London yourselves and walked through what I call the Qatari embassy of Harrods?
I lived there for a year.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
Man, what is up with that location?
It is crazy. That area, like Knightsbridge, is entirely, like, the amount of rich Arabs in there. They almost own that place. Like, Harrods is owned by a Qatari guy.
Yeah.
And I think it used to be...
Yeah,
it used to be owned by an Egyptian, and I think a Qatari guy bought it.
Dudil Fayed,
yeah. And the restaurants around that area, most of them are owned by Arabs.
Yeah.
And they're really expensive. So I went into, like, I didn't even buy anything. I just went into just to see it. And they had tables made out of gold and all that crap.
They do. And like the French patisserie foods and all that. Like,
we're all about that excess, aren't we?
It's insane. And they ship their cars all the way from the Middle East just to drive on their road, and that's it.
That's it. That's all they do.
That's all they do.
But I want to know what started it all. Like, why London? Like, did we just go to the polar opposite of our weather and we were like, we just want to go there?
London, you sheikh, London.
I'm guessing... what I can guess is the political relations between the countries at the time, because as far as I can remember, it used to be that you can go to the UK without they can get a visa on spot.
Oh, it was the easiest.
So
visa
back
to
then,
get.
the kind of like the people were just going back and forth, and they just got, I don't know, maybe just got used to it,
and then this trend
and their
happened.
children just started doing the same thing.
And I think that when we were colonized by the British, they sort of left this impression on us that everything British is the best.
Yes, we did,
like if you talk to some old school Bahrainis.
Yeah.
And you mention like anything English,
Inglesi,
it's the best and whatever. And
but in the same tone, like f*** them for like colonizing us. But that tea, man, that afternoon tea,
dude, Harrods tea, man.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, high tea is really good there.
It's good.
Well, you know something? There's a Qatari shop. It's called Chabati and Karak in Knightsbridge.
Okay.
Really?
Okay, I don't know exactly where it is, but it is in Knightsbridge. And apparently for like one chabati and one glass of karak is like
5,000
5, 6, 7 pounds or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
just
wouldn't be
like, dude,
surprised.
for God's sake, I go to Harrods, I pay 15 pounds and I get high tea with like sandwiches and whatever, and I feel fancy and whatever.
No, but that's for the white people. It's not for us. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, what's the
Chapati
point of
and
traveling then? I mean,
I don't know.
if you think about it, if you're gonna travel to London, you want to experience all the pleasures that London has to offer. You don't go to London to have chabati and karak that you can have in Bahrain.
Yeah, but Londoners want chabati and
But
karak.
that's the thing. These cities
Maybe.
like London, they're not really. That's not where the people live. Like London is
It's a cosmopolitan. Like there's people from all over the world.
But what depresses me the most out of London is the fact that like 60. I think the percentage. This is off the top of my ass. Pulled it right off the crack. No, there's some percentage. It was about 60 or 70% of people that work in London during the day vacate the city by night. So it is the emptiest city in the world at night compared to every other city.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of
nobody
commuters.
lives there.
They
all commute from outside of London.
Yeah,
Do you know
that's
what I mean?
true. That's true.
So all those central like prime real estate, that's not even owned by people from the UK or even from London. That's all owned by like Russians, Chinese, us.
The English themselves come from other cities all the way to London. Like not a lot of them.
The outskirts of London, like Reading, Kingston, and
Yeah.
whatever. Because it's
but not the metropolis.
No. The thing about London is, I don't like going there because there's a lot of Khalijis.
Well, in certain areas, I understand.
They don't go to Camden Town.
They don't go to Camden. There's so many.
Not the same anymore, man. It's not.
It's been about like 3 or 4 years since I last been there. So
my friend always complains about that. He's like, Camden's changed, man. You have to go to
Really?
Shoreditch, and then you go to Shoreditch, you find out that's changed as well.
Shoreditch, I remember. Yeah, Shoreditch, Camden, and Soho was really cool.
It's cool in the sense that if you want that like alternate lifestyle,
Edgware Road, ya Sheikh, Edgware Road.
The amount of hate I have for that road, man.
Why?
I can't stand it, man. I lived there for a year, and I can't pass by that place anymore.
Is that where you lived? You were in?
No. I didn't live in Edgware Road, but just I've had enough of passing through that. It's the dirtiest. See, this is the thing about like London. In London,
you
when
can't
you
say
notice
that. You can't say Edgware Road is the dirtiest while you're fucking living in Knightsbridge or some shit. These dirty bastards. I don't like them. The circuit tube that I go to is only blue.
Unbelievable. No, but the thing is, like, especially in London, you'll find different neighborhoods, and they're occupied by different nationalities. So Edgware Road is like mostly Arabs, and you go to Chinatown, where close to Leicester Square, and most of the Africans would be on like the eastern, like northeastern side and all that.
East London,
and but you'd go to these different places, and they're very interesting. You can see their cultures like throughout
microcosms.
But when you go to Edgware Road, it's just filth, man. Honestly, compared to the rest of London, it's just like you'd see people throwing trash in London, man. Like,
I just want to clarify, when he says filth, he's not talking about the people.
No. I'm talking about the road. It's like physically the road itself. It's dirty compared to what London is.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're an Arab, like I hear a lot of Arabs going there, like, man, I can't stand London. It's very. I'm like, where did you go? They're like, Edgware Road, Marble Arch. I'm like, yeah, sure. That's course. London,
the only time where I like to actually be in central London is going. I'm gonna sound really Khaliji right now, but going to Oxford Street, because HMV They have like one of the biggest department stores there in Oxford Street.
Dude, yeah, man. You have you been to the comic shop once? What is it
Forbidden
called?
Planet?
Forbidden
Yeah,
Planet.
I go to all the geek nerdy centers.
Oh, I love it.
I'm not a
the
big
BFI
comic guy.
shop.
Yeah.
Film Institute.
There's that. There's another one. I forgot what it's called. The Orcs something. I forgot its name now, but it's a crazy.
There's
shop.
foils. I think was it foils? No, there was another one called Flop. Was it Flop or something?
Fappy.
Flipperoo.
Fabulous.
You know something, man? With HMV, I could go there and spend 4 hours inside the shop, and I would not get.
I think they
bored.
closed it down now, though.
Did they?
I think so.
The one
No,
on
no, no.
Oxford Street?
They
They
were
relocated?
about to. They were about to close it down.
Last time I was there, I didn't see it.
When was the last time
This
you went
was in. I think that was October.
Oh, very recent.
yeah,
Then
yeah,
probably yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Because when I
I'm
was
not. I'm just saying.
because when I was there,
I don't care, man. My
Honestly.
family lives in London. I love London in the sense that I enjoy it, but at the same time, it aggravates me. So I always go there and then I leave because I studied in Wales and everything. So last time I went to Nottingham, and Nottingham has like the headquarters of
Nottingham.
How was it, by the way?
Oh, love it.
Really?
Yeah, because for me, not because of the city. Everybody be like, "Why are you going
Yeah,
there?"
yeah.
But to me, that's the headquarters of Games Workshop and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
a huge like just their museum
Crazy,
of miniature
yeah.
figures that they painted on like armies on parade and all this
That's
other crap.
interesting.
So I'm nerding out for anybody here that doesn't know Warhammer 40k. But
You know, I lived like 20 minutes from
At Games Workshop?
from Nottingham because I was living in Derby.
oh no way,
20 minutes from there, and I've never been to
Not
Nottingham.
once.
Not once.
it's beautiful, man.
You know, it's the
I
worst.
like their branding as a city. Go ahead.
You know, it's the worst thing for an Arab in London. Pronouncing Leicester Street.
Leicester.
Leicester Square. Is it Leicester Square?
Leicester
Road?
Square, yeah.
Leicester Square, yeah. Is it Leicester or is it Leicester or is
Leicester.
Leicester?
Just don't go there.
Manchester?
Confession: I have pronounced that.
Or like
I have pronounced it that way for at least a month when I was there.
Bakerloo.
Leicester.
Bakerloo.
Shabar Bush. Do you know that? I sat down with an uncle when I came back, and he was telling me about this place somewhere. And he's like, "There's this place, man. on what's it called? Ta'miyah. There's this Pakistanis, and it's amazing. You gotta try it." And I'm like, "Where is it?" Somewhere in Shabar Bush. I'm like, what the hell is Shabar Bush? And he kept saying, "It was like Shabar Bush." I'm like, oh, you mean Shabar's Bush? That was the first time I heard about that.
there's a good falafel shop in Shepherd's Bush next to Westfield.
That's the one he was talking about.
What?
That's the one.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are these places notorious? I don't understand.
Falafel wasn't Ta'miyah.
Like, do you notice that? Like, when people, like, talk...
Ta'miyah falafel is the same thing, isn't it?
What? No.
Really?
Well, no, actually, technically, it depends on which culture it is, because some of them call it.
Ta'miyah.
But yeah, the
Yeah.
one you're talking about is Ta'miyah, but they call it falafel.
Oh,
Like, it's the
okay.
same thing.
What?
Same
Okay,
thing.
we're not going to go into that.
It's very complex.
Yeah, let's just talk about Palestine, Israel. No. We're not going to do that. What was I going to say? Yeah, the
Notorious places.
What is it about like these notorious? Like this is we were talking about influencers the last time. Remember public figures and stuff like that. Like how do these people that are like crazy social media stars in London and everywhere else, the Arab ones that are from the Khalij, they're from the Gulf states, and they go and they talk about one restaurant, and then that freaking restaurant is just explodes,
Yeah.
and it's like some normal. Like dingy kebab place, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can find better food here, and yet it's like there's a category for it. Was the drunk food?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that becomes like surreal, and people go crazy over it, and I can't figure out why, and I don't know what starts it, but I'm starting to get enraged by it.
It's the hype, man. That's what they do as influencers. You know?
It's just people.
Swarm the shop, and
You know, they put out a trend and people follow that trend.
yeah.
You know,
That's
I mean, think about it. If
But what do they get out of it?
I don't know,
Like, do they get
Don't they
paid
get
by the
paid?
place?
I don't.
No, these are not high-end places.
I don't think so.
Unless it's the idea of wanting to feel special that you said, well, this is the one. Like, if it's his cousin's
I
place, like,
think
Mohammed,
Like,
there,
there's-
there might be something in there, you know, like the fact that I feel like I found the place. You know?
La, dude. It's more like, oh my god, I'm having falafel on a cold day in London, and the shop is so good. Like it reminds me of the shop that I went to when I was a kid. Yeah, like
You know,
that.
my
nostalgia. I think
you know,
it plays on the
guess, yeah.
My
nostalgia.
favorite restaurant in London. It's a Japanese place in Leicester Square. I don't know if you've been there. It's called Tokyo Diner.
no.
Tokyo.
It's so good, man. It's like this pure Japanese place.
Habibi Crystal Kebab, man.
It's
Crystal
owned by
Kebab all the way.
Japanese. It's a very Japanese setting, and you just go in there and it's the food there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
No, man. I used to go to this this kebab place, man, next to St. Pancras Station, King's Cross, called Crystal Kebab, and they do like the meanest kebab.
Dude,
like you could just tell
the best places are the dirty ones, man.
Like you could just tell, like OJ went to this like really sort of nice Japanese restaurant. It's all classy and whatever.
Honestly,
I'd have a fucking trashy piece of shit going to kebab place.
Well, see, that's the thing about London. You can try out all these different. There's like an entire spectrum of the types of food that you can try. You know.
Do you know what the best part is about this conversation? Is that we were trashing Arabs going to London. Like, why the are they going to London? And we just listed 50.
They were like, "Oh, this is amazing," and we're
like, yeah, but dude, London has Nottingham.
But honestly, man.
When did we start? We were starting with the royal wedding. That's what we got. That's how we somehow got into this.
Oh yeah, speaking. Just to go back, just briefly to Mustafa Akkad. He was assassinated in Amman, Jordan.
Amman, yeah.
Yeah, this was in 2005.
Oh.
Him and his daughter was 34 at the time.
Does it say why?
The bomb exploded. Blah blah blah. It doesn't really say why. I'm gonna have to look this up more. I just remember this. Did you know that he was the one who produced Halloween to John Carpenter?
Oh yeah, I know this.
Yeah, that. Now that you say
his
it,
claim to fame as far as Western films go in that time period. Yeah, there was a lot of it.
That's how he kickstarted his career.
Yeah,
Halloween was a good movie.
Was it?
It was.
It was like the.
I liked it.
I never was a fan, honestly. I was more of the Hellraiser type.
I like that me too. Like I prefer those like physical, especially the
Clive
early
Barker.
Clive Barker is so good, man.
Pinhead.
There's so many metaphors in there. Like just look deep.
I never watched Hellraiser, but Pinhead,
stuck with you.
It's very iconic.
It's a really disturbing character, honestly.
It is. But the thing about Halloween is that was the first time anyone has used those cinematic techniques in a horror film. You know, like the blending in music and like the intensity of these people and yeah, exactly. But the thing is the best John Carpenter movie. That's my favorite John Carpenter.
That is your favorite
John Carpenter.
That is mine too. I watch that like every year. I watch it once. That and Aliens.
Yeah.
I'd say Aliens definitely
best John Carpenter.
Aliens.
So good.
See, I did it again. Managed to get us back to Aliens.
Always with Aliens with you. Speaking of aliens, I on my rant that day about the Ramadan category, I suggested some movies for people to watch to pass the time and during the day in Ramadan, and one of my suggestions was the X-Files.
Yeah, I noticed that
because it's a very
you keep
long
trying
series.
to plug the X-Files. You were going on like watch this. This
are they
or
paying
this.
you?
This is a good show. Why do you feel like people need to watch the X-Files, Matrook? You're on 60 Minutes. Go on, go.
Why do I think people need to watch
Why?
the X-Files? Let's see. Because first of all, Gillian Anderson is gorgeous.
She is very gorgeous. Yeah.
Like Gillian Anderson. You wanted a person?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Gillian Anderson in the 90s.
Nice.
Okay. And it's just a really interesting show in a sense that as a viewer, you're always lost. You're always lost. You're always trying to sort of fit the pieces of the puzzle together, especially with the alien mythology arc. Like, you never know what's going on. Like, you think you know, and the characters know, but you really don't.
It's really a metaphor for your young life, Matrook. So you never know what's happening. Your body's changing. You're feeling conflicted. You're going to Canada. You're outspoken, but they're PC. You don't know what to do. Things are confusing now.
No, look. The reason I suggested the X-Files because every episode is like 45 minutes, and it's a good way to pass the time. Like that's the only reason why. And
it's a good reason.
And you don't. It's not the kind of show that you binge watch.
Yeah.
No, it's because it really takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But it's nice to watch it. It's nice to have it on hand.
And for the content it has, it's not actually heavy. I like that. There's some episodes that are, but they sparse them out well enough.
How many seasons is it? I need to get into them, and I haven't seen it yet.
The original run was 9 seasons, and now they're making a 10th and 11th.
Was it up till season 7 that Mulder was in it, and then?
Khalid, I'm in season 7. Shh.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Spoilers. Yeah, I'm in season 7 right now.
Oh, I thought you were.
You were like a huge fan.
I am, but I.
Oh, you're one of those. You just got into it. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. No, people. This is an agenda. Matrook wants to be a part of his life, so he can talk about the show. He needs more people watching.
You got me, man.
Yeah.
But seriously, I've been wanting to watch the X-Files for the longest time, but I didn't have the budget to buy the box set. To be honest.
Wow, how much does it cost now?
Well, I mean, I bought it. I told my sister to buy it from HMV. It was about £50.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, but again, I wasn't a series guy. I was always a movie buff.
Right.
It's only now that I got into series.
So who got you into the X-Files? Who was like telling you, listen, this is the one show out of every show that's
be
out
honest,
there? Because I would peg you more of a guy that would watch The Wire. I don't know why.
I watched the first episode, the first half an hour of the Wire from the first episode, but with the X-Files, really, it just boiled down to the theme song. I like the theme song.
That was it?
And that's it.
Wow, it's that easy to just get
and
into.
that's it.
That's how it used to work in like the 90s and early 2000s when it comes to like people liking shows like, come on, one angle, give me something. The music, that's it.
You know, I have a theory, or rather, it's a personal thing with me, is that if a show's intro is good, chances are I'll watch it.
That's not the case with this show. I'll tell you that.
It's catchy, but
Yeah.
I don't know if like is it amazing? Not really.
What, you talking about the X-Files or this show?
The X-Files.
Because we've gotten compliments for the intro, and then it's
Matrook loves it.
Yeah, Matrook loves it, and some of the people in shout out to people in Amsterdam,
Shout out to people in Canada.
We're just gonna
Canada as well.
Canada
Yeah.
as well.
All you people, we know you're listening.
We know you are.
I can track you with all the analytics that Google and YouTube has provided me, and I know where you
We're the
are.
ultimate power.
Comes ultimate alien bullshit.
No, I can. What was I saying?
the
theme song.
Yeah,
The
intro,
the intro for this one was actually pretty well received, but then like right after the intro song, there's a bunch of our viewers that just go and tune out, or they skip ahead like past it. So I have very mixed feelings about how they feel about the intro song.
But it's a really nice intro, man.
it is.
That's
The
the thing.
X-Files.
Like, are there? I just thought about this. Are there any more iconic
The Sopranos.
theme
Yeah.
songs anymore? Like other than
Like
like
today?
the one that I can think of is Game of Thrones. Like that's just
Yes,
it
yeah,
plays
yeah,
in your head a lot.
yeah.
But I can't think of anything other than that.
Other than
Or the
that.
jingle in the beginning of
OG.
Breaking Bad as well.
Yes. No,
OG.
there are. There are shows that put in like the you remember Weeds had the
I haven't
little
seen them. I haven't
boxes,
seen them.
little
OG.
boxes.
I'll tell you what. If the intro, let me just rephrase. If the intro sequence is nice, then I'll watch it.
Mm.
Like for example, with The Sopranos, when just Tony's just driving to his home, and
Yeah.
there's like a little sort of bluesy, funky kind of track.
Yeah.
That was a really nice intro. Like I never skipped an intro of The Sopranos because it's so
Wake
enjoyable.
up one morning,
Got yourself a gun. Yeah,
Mama said.
I haven't seen it yet. Man.
you should.
Get into it.
I have it. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, that's a good one. But these
Definitely.
like after the early 2000s, they stopped doing long title sequences because they decided, you know what, people don't necessarily care for intros.
Skip intro on Netflix.
Skip
Yeah.
it, and even like it takes up your episode length, your time.
True.
So why would you spend
Yeah.
2 extra minutes that you could have used on the show itself?
Some people get really creative with it. If you guys have seen Atlanta,
No.
well, it's almost the same. It's almost a different intro every time, but they blend it in with the episode, so the title will come out when, like, let's say someone's in a barbershop in the beginning of the episode, and then they come out, and the title would appear somewhere in the, like, around the frame.
Right.
And there's like a different theme song or a different soundtrack basically every time.
Gotcha.
So it's very interesting the way
I've watched one episode of Atlanta.
How was
The
it?
one with the black guy who
Who does a
identified as a white guy.
face?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so good.
That was like a really good episode.
Dude,
I've never seen the show,
Atlanta
honestly.
is like, it's, you know what it is? It's like the Twin Peaks of right now.
Really?
That's how I see it. I'm not kidding. Watch it. Like, watch the other episodes because it doesn't. There is a storyline there. There's like a linear order, but every episode it's almost its own thing. Some of them are completely different style. Like one of them is an entire half hour of. It's like you're watching television. Like they're fake commercials in the between and all. It's amazing.
I remember there was. In that episode, there was a fake commercial. And,
That's the one. That's the episode with the fake commercials. In between.
OJ, Twin Peaks is another good show with a
Oh,
good
yeah.
intro.
Oh, actually,
really
yeah.
relaxing intro.
I love, dude, Angelo Badalamenti, the guy who did the soundtrack for Twin Peaks, genius.
What do you guys feel like is the number one thing people are watching of your age? I say your age because I'm 32 and you guys are like 15.
Right now,
Now you're 20-something.
I think right now would be Game of Thrones.
From let's say from the kids that come, the kids, Jesus,
The kids.
the youngins that come to the comedy shows, right? The ones from the Raven's Nest and other places, that your friends and other people. What are they into? Like,
Orange is the New Black.
Really?
Is it?
I don't know,
is it
probably.
that
I'm just-
popular
no
anymore?
idea.
I'm shooting in the dark.
That's the thing, like, because we both are sort of
Weirdos.
Yeah. I guess you can just say that.
Yeah.
Freaks of nature.
Because
The
there's this thing.
Untouchables.
Yeah, there's this show right now which is getting really popular. It's a Spanish one called
Narcos?
something Heist.
Oh.
Can't.
Oh, I heard
What's it
of
called?
this.
Oh, we moved on from Turkish soap operas to Spanish.
Like, it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be very Death Note-ish, like in terms of it's
But to people that don't know, Death Note is a Japanese,
it's a Japanese
anime and manga that then became a show.
and it's in the sense that it's like a chess game between the cops and the robbers.
Oh,
or,
okay.
yeah,
Right.
and
So this is
steal
the
that.
new thing. This is the new Prison Break of this generation.
Yeah, it's sort of like
Oh,
that.
Prison Break.
No, don't get into Prison Break yet. This is the one show that I started off liking, and then I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I agree.
I
Yep.
could see it halfway through. Like, okay, how are you gonna make more seasons of this?
Yeah.
Like,
More
where-
prisons.
Where is this going?
They really
More prison.
squeezed the towel on
They
it.
should have,
Yeah,
honestly, because they started getting weird. I felt like they should have just like gone through to the other side and be like, okay, they all die and they're in hell, and now they have to get out of hell. They have to get through the Monica demons and the Clintons. I keep going back to that. I'm sorry.
You keep going.
I just really love him. I love his voice.
The
Check out Alex Jones.
Khalid is trying to be the Alex Jones of Arabia.
One day. One day soon enough.
The
Ali Jones.
I'll die, and then they'll say I'm actually him, and he's actually Bill Hicks. Did you know this?
Yeah.
This is a huge conspiracy that Alex Jones. Yeah, this is one of the bigger conspiracy theories that are. It's about Alex Jones himself. That he's actually Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks,
Really?
yeah.
That he died. That Bill Hicks faked his death.
and there's the surgery.
And yes, there's surgery.
No
and
way.
People have done on like Reddit and other places like facial comparison, like to his muscle structure, his bone structure, and everything else. And they're like, "Oh, look at the way he speaks. It's the same imitation."
You know, the way you know, it's not. It's kind of believable because Bill goes crazy in some of his shows.
Yeah.
You
Like
know
he
what?
just starts screaming and imitating animals and just general debauchery.
You know what this
nothing-
reminds me? It's almost like the I don't know if you remember this when there's this sketch of Ted Cruz that came out
No.
that was supposed to be very resembling of what's the serial killer from Zodiac? The Zodiac
the
killer.
Zodiac killer.
And apparently the sketches were so alike that he was like, that might be the
my-
Zodiac killer.
You know, with Ted Cruz,
Imagine.
It's very funny.
I bet you one of the presidents was a notorious serial killer. I bet you. Statistically has to happen, right?
aren't they all?
Technically.
Matrook making a political statement here.
Q X Files theme. But you know, Ted Cruz. Remember when he was doing the Mark Zuckerberg hearing,
Yeah.
and he was like telling him like,
he's such a douchebag.
"Why did you guys like take down my Chick-fil-A page or something?"
You could feel that was like really personal to him. Like, just like, why? Why did you do that? I thought we were friends. Man, do you
that
feel like
hearing.
Facebook is dying in the Middle East, or
I think Facebook is dying worldwide.
yeah, no? But in the Middle East, does anybody give a? Let's bring it back home here.
It's
It's
more,
in Bahrain specifically, not a lot of people use it.
No,
it definitely lost momentum.
that's why they
Yeah.
bought Instagram, though, isn't it? Because they felt like that.
Yeah,
big portion of
Instagram
people
and
there.
WhatsApp as well.
Who owns Snapchat though? Because that seems to be the biggest hit here.
Apparently,
Snob.
it's some asshole who's like, I'm so because they tried to buy him off. Like they tried to, I think it was Facebook tried to buy
Snapchat?
for how many?
Some guys like,
millions
no,
was
f*** you. I own
Yeah,
it.
I was like, nah,
sorry,
nah.
I don't know why he's Chinese. I just assume anybody that doesn't give a shit.
I think he's European. Is it European or American? I can't
Okay.
remember.
Snapchat, the reason why it's so successful here is because of the privacy of it, right? It's that's the whole idea
yeah.
that you get to connect social media and be, this girl that's at home posting her pics or posting
you
about
can
her
send
day.
pics now.
You see-
And
yeah,
nobody would know that.
and that's the reason why Instagram did the story thing, and everybody else is doing that because it's
Yeah.
like
Even Facebook has a story feature now, right?
yeah, but there's
And
none of the
WhatsApp.
privacy though. That's the thing.
No,
Yeah.
loses
number
it.
one concern in the Middle East.
WhatsApp has a story thing as well, and only moms use it. Like as far as I know.
So is social media still social media if it's like private social? Like what's stopping me from just going and talking to my friends through Skype and some shit? Why do I need that?
Well, it's not really. It's still social media because the thing with like if you're talking specifically about Snapchat, not all of it. It's one aspect of it is you can send something privately and it can disappear in however many seconds. But the entire platform itself is now used as like they're using it like a some of them vlog from Snap like. Oh my god, these people, man!
People vlog on.
It's insane.
They make their own,
like,
little
especially
channels
Arabs, man. Like imagine holding a phone for an entire day and you're just snapping yourself. Just especially with the new feature where you can just make multiple snaps and it would just go on forever.
Oh my god!
And you can just upload the whole thing.
What is
insane, man?
What started this appeal? Like for some people, like overseas, it was mostly like, I can make my face like a bread, like look like bread,
like a hot dog.
It's
I think it's the idea.
Stupid.
It's the idea of technically anyone being able to be a celebrity online.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, but like there's already stuff
there's a lot of Snapchat stars.
But how does that translate to like advertising and everything else? If
remember Asghar Time?
Yeah, what?
Asghar Time?
Asghar Time?
Asghar Time, you heard about that?
No.
The new... Well, that's not new anymore. It opened in somewhere in Tubli.
I heard of Tea Time.
It's owned by this... it's owned by this Kuwaiti influencer. I can't remember his name anyways. He's very popular. I don't know if you know him. It's the really big dude who does those pranks.
A lot of really big dudes in Kuwait.
No, that guy's like
gets,
significantly big.
This is the guy gets like...
Yeah, he gets hit by people. Like
people,
that's the guy. That's
goes
the guy.
up with his phone.
With his big microphone.
It's just a prank, bro.
That's him.
Dude, that guy gets into trouble, man.
A lot of trouble. And he opened his place, which is very popular in Kuwait. It's called Asghar Time.
Yeah.
And he opened another one here in... it's in Jeddah. Well, not Jeddah. It's almost Tubli,
right.
And the only way he got, the only way to get that kind of hype was through his social media. People were swarming the place. The first time
this place opened up after he was known for his pranking and everything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the people that utilize social media a lot are Kuwaitis.
They're really good at it.
They're really, really good at it.
Is it because they're very attuned to drama?
Possibly, I think it comes a lot from their television as well. It's sort of just
and they're not afraid of like airing out the dirty laundry. They let everybody know what's happening.
There's this guy that I follow. His name on Snapchat is Concept15. His actual name is Hussein Al-Ali. He's a Kuwaiti guy. And, his story is just a real success story. Like, he started out, working a corporate job in a bank and whatever. And then he just quit and he started cooking at home. Like, that was in, 2012, 2013 when Instagram was picking up.
Yeah.
So he started cooking at home and delivering it to people. And then he started utilizing Snapchat and Instagram. And his business just boomed. Mm-hmm. Now he owns a restaurant in Marbella in Spain.
Oh wow!
He does consultancy for a bunch of firms that want to open restaurants or individuals and whatever.
Yeah.
So he's a perfect example of a person that I saw from the beginning. And in a couple of years' time, he
blew up.
Yeah. And he's a smart guy. I mean, I met him in real life. He's a really, really down to earth guy. Really nice guy. He's got that old school hustle about him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He knows how to work people, whether they're like government types or.
And he's extremely funny. He's something. I have his humor is from old school Kuwaiti humor, like from
dad jokes.
What's his name? Allah Hussein Abdel Rada.
Oh yeah,
like really old school kind, and I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. So I really sort of got him. But a lot of people my age are like, this guy's not funny. I'm like, guys. Come on, man.
Subtle. He's like
funny.
The Bill Murray of
he's the typical Khaliji funny guy.
It's like if you show the youngins Darb al-Zalag,
The youngins. You guys are like 15. Shut up.
Hey, man.
You don't get to say that.
Man, we watched Darb al-Zalag.
We watched Darb al-Zalag, exactly.
Like if you watch that, you're
that's true.
You know something funny thing about Darb al-Zalag? Like my dad.
Can you explain to people what that is so they remember? We have white people listening.
Do you want to go?
Darb al-Zalag is an old Kuwaiti show.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
In I believe it was the 70s.
Yeah,
it was about
late 70s.
It was about basically just two brothers going on a bunch of get-rich-quick schemes and failing every time.
Yeah,
it's part of GCC culture.
Yeah, and the magic in it wasn't really in the because the story was simple. It was just these two brothers were like trying to get money, but the magic in it was the type of humor like that only Khalijis would understand.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would even...
it's our first form of kind of situational comedy, if you think about it. The first, yeah.
It's very, very special, like in a way like that. I don't think there's anything like it in the Middle East right now.
What makes it more special, I think, is, my dad always talks about Darb al-Zalag, always references it and whatever.
Dude, everyone in my family quotes
and
that.
I just found out that it's only 13 episodes.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a handful of episodes.
It's not much.
What, it only ran for a year? 2 seasons? What?
13, 16 episodes. Like, it's not that much.
So we're talking once a week in Ramadan? Every year?
Are you sure it was 13?
Probably. Yeah, it was a really ridiculous number.
Because I remember my cousin had the old VHS tapes of it.
Yeah, that was VHS.
They were 4, I think.
4, but that's normal.
But that's so
that would be about right.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
I really sort of and after Darb al-Zalag you had Tosh Matosh, and Tosh Matosh sort of carried that kind of humor.
That torch, yeah.
You don't have that nowadays. I mean, Selfie, okay, fine.
Yeah, but with Tosh, there was just the quantity of it.
How many seasons was there? Like 16 or something?
Crazy. I have no idea. And that's not counting the episodes that never got aired either. The ones that were pulled off, that were too political or too controversial. And those they're available on YouTube, I guess, now. I don't think anybody cares about them, but I should probably look into that. What else? I need to make a correction for something I did previously in the show when I was talking about Arab horror movies, and I mentioned the movie that was made in Bahrain that was about Hamar, the horror movie. And apologies to my friend Fakhru and his friend, who I need to get the name of. I'm not actually plugging it, and I just saw it today and I felt embarrassed by it. But you guys can find them on Instagram for, it's called Blue Steel Productions. Blue, come on, don't fail me, Instagram on my phone. Yeah, it's Blue Steel Films. That's blue with BLU, Steel Films on Instagram. And this is a film production company by Mohammed Fakhru and Zahib Latif. And the name of the movie is not Hoof. Or hoof, as I thought it was. I was misremembering it. It was actually cloven. Cloven. The cloven foot of a hoof, basically. So I remember.
Is it still in the making?
It's still in the making, and I think I was looking at it today, and it was. They were talking about it being released in March. But it looks like it has a lot of potential. I like the way it was shot.
Production delays.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Fakhru. If you are listening, I think you are one of the listeners on the show. I hope to have you on here to talk about it. I feel like maybe if you give us a special screening.
Yeah.
You would love that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Special screening.
Special screening.
You know, since we're plugging and talking about comedy.
Yeah.
Red, white, none of the blue.
Oh God, not again.
When is it getting released?
I don't know, because I have not been available. I've not been available last week. I was in Amman, and it's the same. I think it's going to be for the next 2 weeks. So
Abdullah's being very vague. He's like summer 2018.
Well, it depends.
He did write August at some point,
and I'm just like, it's always summer here. You know, like when are you going to release it?
What summer are we talking?
I don't know if he can get it done by August. Like we only have a few segments left to record, but yeah, I'm going to already be delayed by 2 weeks anyway. So I will send him the files, and he'll be done with it. What are we missing here? I think we're well over 8 minutes on this one.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, so
So,
I think that covers it for this episode.
yes.
I thank you guys all for listening in. Guys, do you want to plug anything else that we've not come across in this conversation? I've already mentioned the movie.
There's probably one thing. I don't know if you guys heard of the new... What do they call it now? Was it like a creative art space?
Yeah, Bitsalmania.
Bitsalmania.
Yeah.
I saw it on Instagram.
It just opened very recently, and there's a lot of new stuff coming out from them. They're going to be doing workshops. I'm going to be hosting, hopefully, I'm going to be hosting movie nights very soon over there.
Oh, that would be nice.
We're going to
That'd
host,
be cool.
I'm going to be introducing film screenings.
Perfect place to screen Cloven.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we were discussing, Bedr, who's one of the owners, we were discussing the possibility of screening like proper Bahraini films in as a part of the show as well. So, but do keep an eye for that. It's called Beit al-Salmaniya.
Okay, guys, this is it for this episode. Tune in for the next one. We're going to be coming in for next week and still be in Ramadan, perhaps, when this airs. So have a good one, and we'll catch you again.